Well, there's a lot of ways to get started. Let's start right from the beginning. How to start an office. Now today, with the beauty of the internet, like you can see right here, there's so many things you can do. You can do sessions online if you don't have an office. So having an office isn't necessary to start a business. Of course, your bread and butter, if you have an office, that's great because you can get an immediate income. But I've had so many people say, well, I live in a small area or a small town. Where am I going to get business? Well, by doing online sessions, we'll be talking a lot more about how to do online sessions in a future class. But by doing them online, your area of clientele isn't only your town or within a 50-mile radius, it's the world. So you can do sessions online. It's actually very easy and very effective to do. And like I said, we're going to have this as a, an entire night's topic, at one of these weekly meetings, where we're going to show you exactly how to do it if you're not already doing it. And if you are, send me an email sometime during the week because I'd like to interview some people that are doing it so it helps everyone else as well. So let's go ahead and talk about starting an office, okay? If you already have an office, that's great. Of course, the ultimate is to have your own dedicated office, but what about those who don't have an office? One of the things we teach our students is, if you're just starting out in the business, there's no need to go out and pay $500, $600 for an office full-time right away. Think of it, if you're already working another job and starting with this business, you might be doing it part-time. If you can fill up just one day of doing hypnosis sessions, you're probably going to make more in that one day, depending on what you're charging, you're probably going to make more than you're already making with your regular salary. Of course, once you're doing it for 2 days, of course, that's a full-time income right there. So, to start, all you need is something maybe 1 or 2 days a week. So how can you do that? Well, one of the most effective things I've seen, over here we have a thing called Craigslist. It's an online, kind of like a newspaper. I think it's all over the East Coast. I don't know if it's in other countries, but a lot of places have these. There's another one called Backpage, but basically an online classified. What I've told people to do, and I've actually done this myself a few times when I've moved to different locations, is just do a search in the city you want to be in or the state you want to be in. Do a search under the business offices with the word share. Just by putting the word share, you'll be amazed how many listings will come up, even in small towns you get in this, of places that would like to share an office with you maybe 1 day a week. Now, who are these people that want to share with you? Most of them are small businessmen, just like ourselves. And of course, being self-employed, we always want to make money. So if we can make money by sharing an office with someone, of course, that's going to be very helpful. I see over here that Craigslist is in California as well. Okay, so they're a lot further expanded than I thought. Most of the people that want to share offices you're going to find are, psychologists, massage therapists, Reiki practitioners, a lot of mental health people. So it's right, up our alley. And the nice thing about that is, if you're sharing an office maybe 1 day a week, or sometimes they want you to work weekends, I've seen some that want you to do just evenings, these people are going to help advertise you as well, okay? When I first started in business, when I first went through a 6-day training, actually a 7-day training back then, what I did is I worked out of my home 1 day a week, okay, until I got that filled up. But then I shared an office with a doctor who was an allergist. He owned actually 3 offices in 3 separate towns here in southern Maine. So I rented an office in one from him where I brought my own desk and everything, and I had it every Tuesday night. That was my office. I think I paid him $100 a month to use it every Tuesday night. So now I had an office in this town, which was Sanford, and I also had one in my hometown at the time, which was Springvale, Maine. So in the newspaper, I had with offices in Sanford and Springvale. Okay, so it makes you look good, in the newspapers or the yellow pages. Back then they used yellow pages, okay? And then I wanted to expand a little further so I can get more clients, interested in me or knowing about me. So he had an office in Biddeford, which is the city I'm living in now, which was a lot bigger. Now his office here was in the medical park. Unfortunately, he didn't have any empty space or empty offices in this building. So I asked him what day he was off. He had Tuesday off. The only one that came in on, Wednesdays. The only one that came in on Wednesdays was the accountant. So I told him, if I could rent your office on Wednesdays when you're not here, I'll pay you $100 again. So now I'm into him for $200 a month. And I had my own office in Sanford, and I rented his office that was already occupied with his desk and all this stuff in Biddeford on Wednesdays. So now, of course, the ad read with offices in Sanford, Springvale, and Biddeford. So I was looking like the big guy on the block. And of course, it was bringing in a lot more business for me. Now, the nice thing about this office, okay, like I said, it was in the medical park, number one, but also he had a beautiful waiting area, and when the accountant came in to do their accounting, they would act as if they were my secretary. So I'd be waiting in the doctor's office, and people would come in and he'd say, just a minute, I'll call Rennie, and he would go ahead and page me, and I'd come out and meet the people. So it looked really nice. Now, the doctor's office, okay, I want you to know he was a Jewish rabbi. He looked nothing like me at all. He had a big beard. He had a wonderful family, but in his office he had pictures of him and his family with his beard all over the place, and he had the mahogany desk. It was beautiful. People would come in, they'd look at the desk, of course they'd think it was my office, and they'd look at his picture and they'd say, hey, you have a nice family. So it kind of gave, you know, really good exposure. What I would do each week for that office, I would come walking in with my scripts in one hand and my little file box, my boom box in the other for my music, and I had one of those, like a 3-tiered pillow that you can put on top of a big recliner, or actually he had an overstuffed chair. So I put the pillow on the top of the overstuffed chair, and he had an ottoman, so people would put their head back, put their feet on the ottoman, and I just created a recliner. So basically I'd walk in with my stuff, walk out with myself, and it was having another office. Another great thing about this, by having 2 different locations other than my home, is since he was an allergist, he was a doctor, I was able to put my brochures and my business cards on his counter during the week. So a lot of people would come in and they'd see, ooh, this guy does hypnotherapy. So that was giving me a lot of business also. So there's one thing you can do. Try to share an office with somebody else. Who else can you share with? Initially, I sent out letters. Matter of fact, in one of the things we have for graduates, our graduates have a book called Hypnosis Moneymakers. And in that book, there's a letter that you can send out. It's a kind of like a form letter to massage therapists, metaphysical shops, spas, chiropractors love to share. So anyone in your area that you think would be comfortable, a good fit with you, you send this letter out to all these people. The letter basically speaks about wanting to share an office with them. You know, you could say you're new in business or not, but it gives them a few options. Number one, if you have an office I could rent 1 day a week, that's great. If you don't, if you have anybody that's interested in my services, I can come in on consignment and just maybe rent the place for an hour. Or I can rent them in my own office, I could do the session in my own office, and you pay them a commission for the lead that they give you. So there's a lot of different options. You can either rent it for, you know, permanently, rent it for a day, rent it for an hour, or you can do it on consignment from your own location. If I had a choice of working my own office 5 days a week, or having 1 day a week at each one of these different shops, let's say a metaphysical center, a doctor, a chiropractor, a gym, I would much rather do it 1 day a week in 5 different places. Why? Networking. You have your cards, all your information in these places, and all these people are talking about you during the week. Because as you know, hypnosis is a very interesting topic. Just being in it, you're attracting people because of the name. So you're getting a lot of other people.